Well, by now you've probably found out that Cloud Imperium has designed a prison system within Star Citizen. So there will be areas that are going to be detention or rehabilitation facilities by a private company called Klesher that will arrest you. You will wake up in a cell if you commit a wrong act and get caught by the NPC AI law enforcement, or perhaps they will even tie in a very cool bounty hunter feature in which you can capture these players and put them in the Klesher rehabilitation facility. Do it if you haven't thought of that already, by the way, Cloud Imperium. That would be great. I think this is very ambitious. I don't know of any game that's really inserted consequences to this degree, and because it's new and relatively in its infancy stages, I'm going to talk about the concepts of these prison systems, and will the consequences be enough for us to say, hey, maybe I'm not going to do that really shitty act again because I don't want to go to Klesher. I mean, is it going to be enough? First off, when you create mayhem in the game, in a lawful system, in a UEE system, if you get caught, you will go to these facilities. I like it because in an unlawful system, perhaps you're not going to be as worried because they're not going to enforce it so much. So that really brings in a cool dynamic of players actually having to go out to bounty hunt you, to bring you in back into the lawful systems. This is a very cool dynamic that needs to be really supported by the player community. This brings in a lot of player driven type content that I am looking forward to. I'm not just looking forward to the facility itself and all the NPCs and the objectives within there, which we'll get to, but I'm also looking about the player driven content that will be created because of this upgrade in the law system. A lot of people would disagree with me and say that this isn't an upgrade at all. I don't want to sit in a cell for a certain amount of time before I can get out. It isn't time that is the determining factor, which is also very cool. You will have to earn your way out of the prison. It's a private facility owned by Klesher. They make their prisoners work for those merits. You instantly, when you get caught and you wake up in these facilities, your Moby Glass, your only connection to the outside world as far as communication, your account balance, all these things is taken away from you. So you will probably have some other type of form of communication in the game, but they're really going to put in a lot of roadblocks for you to create like contacts and develop like a network in these prisons, because they don't want to see those types of actions being performed in the prisons, which is great. And because they have a direct focus with these facilities that they have designed, I believe they said 62 cells per wing, they will be able to look at any type of exploit that players are trying to find in the prison systems, and they will push hard against certain types of exploits. In other areas, they're very lax. So these merits, you earn them. You earn them in the prison like you would credits outside of the prison. You earn these merits, you collect these merits, you can trade them with other players to help get them better equipment so they can go down further in the mines and mine up more valuable material, giving you even more merits. There will be players that will talk with other players that will create like player gangs inside. And they even talked about the fact that if you work together getting more merits, you can essentially get out faster, buy your way out faster. So there will be a whole economy within the prison that I find fascinating because of this system that they've created. And they've even instituted, I believe they said like a boxing ring area where you can go at it and just, you know, melee combat it all day long and gamble with your merits. So also very cool that they're adding that into the game. Also confirming Fight Club, at least within the prison. We talked about how we'd like to see it outside of the prison as well. I believe now that we're seeing it inside the prison here, that we're going to see it outside once wall-to-wall transactions happen. So I'm really excited about that kind of content. And it's cool to me that like they've made this labyrinth so that you do have the chance to escape, because it's not the best type of prison rehabilitation facility, because it's really not funded very well, and it's more of a privateer Klesher's more of a kind of a privateer rehabilitation facility where they're trying to make the most profit they can and giving the most security they can. But if somebody escapes, so be it. If you escape, I'm sure that your bounty's still active. I'm sure that you're still going to be hunted down and thrown right back in. So you might want to question whether you want to escape or not. And then with this labyrinth of tunnels inside of Klesher, there is an escape route that you can use, but you will need to upgrade your equipment and have enough oxygen to get out. So they have stretched out within this labyrinth, this maze that is Klesher, these stations where you can get oxygen pens at, and of course you would need types of merits to get these. I would imagine they have a commissary in the center of this prison where you can buy goods for better equipment to mine deeper and deeper and get better types of ore that you can then sell to Klesher for more merits. And then so you're creating an economy within the prison system. Some people will probably find that the like organizations will want key people and organizations that are in these prisons that have like a collection of merits. That's so if you're in an organization, you get thrown in the slammer, you have a contact inside that has an unlimited amount of merits that says, okay, great, here's your merits, you're in our org, you can get out. Now, I think what we will see is Cloud Imperium really bunker down on that kind of game, that kind of exploit. So those are the exploits I'm talking about. Gamers are going to try and find exploits in the prison systems. Because they're confined, it's going to be easier for Cloud Imperium to look at these exploits and say, okay, we don't like this exploit. This is what we're going to do to limit that kind of action or that kind of gameplay. Boom. And it will happen very directly. So they have to be careful though, right? Because they're giving us gameplay in the prison, but will the gameplay itself be enough for us to keep ourselves interested? Or is it going to be like to the point where it will ruin the game? I don't think it will ruin the game. I actually think if they do this right, it will make people think about their actions in the game. And there we get into a really interesting discussion about PvE, right? A lot of PvE players, player versus environment, or people that like to do mission grinding and don't like to be bothered pretty much by pirates or people that are doing bad things, don't like when bad things happen to them. That's not their play style. So this might reinforce the fact that they're not going to be griefed as much because people will think about their actions, at least in lawful space. In outlaw space, you will not see these kind of infractions. Like if you do these things in outlaw space, I'm almost 90% sure that you won't even get clocked or logged in for doing these bad acts, which is something that needs to be thought about. I'm pretty sure Cloud Imperium has thought about this. If this is a new thing, then put it into your database, Cloud Imperium, because this is something that really should be part of the game, is that if you are committing outlaw acts in outlaw space, there shouldn't really be the infraction because there's no UEE around. So maybe there should. I don't know. That's a great discussion as well. But I would like to see the fact that if you are in UEE space, that these are enforced fairly well, so that people do think about their actions in UEE space. And this is that kind of divider where we see that in outlaw space, you're going to see more PvP related players, and in lawful space, you're going to see more PvE. So they're upgrading this law system with prison systems, and they're making us think about our actions and the consequences for our actions, at least in lawful space, which is great. And I love the fact that they've done this. So for me, to see this kind of gameplay being inserted, to see this these Klesher facilities, they said the first was going to be on Aberdeen, and I'm sure they'll continue to add these as the server counts go up, as the technologies of server meshing and become more of a reality, and you get larger numbers of people on a server, that you're going to see more and more prisons come online. So this is pretty fascinating to me, because it is a very ambitious design feature that I've really never seen done correctly. And to use like a merit-based system where you're clocking in to do the work that you need to get out, really does two things. It adds gameplay, but it adds a successfully implemented prison system or an upgrade to this law system in which people will think about their actions again, because possibly you know, even though it gives you that gameplay, it might be a little bit repetitious, and people might want to not do that all the time, or have to deal with the fact of the other players in the prison that have already developed their own ecosystems, that have already developed their own way of life inside these prisons, in which now you're not only following the game's kind of presets for what you have to do, but you also have to worry about the player base within the prisons. That's the cool part. And that's why I like what Star Citizen is becoming. To see this kind of gameplay added in there really adds a lot of different layers, and I love that kind of realism. And I just, when I got to see this information, I was very excited. So don't forget, we will be having a stream about this tomorrow, which will be a Tuesday, I believe, December 3rd. I will notify you in the Discord. Please join our Discord. Great family, wonderful, open-minded people. And I will see you guys on the next vid. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of DG360 who make continued content possible. DG360 patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Star Citizen packages, Steam gift cards, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating $1 if in any way you enjoy DG360 content. And these difficult times where independent content creation is under attack from the FTC and left to die by YouTube, it's nice to know that I'm appreciated. Thank you.